Cool. So, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the community call. It's been a couple of weeks since we did the last one. I think this week we might go a little shorter than we usually do. We usually make it to the hour, but I'm feeling kind of sick, so I don't want to drag this out. I don't know if I sound weird either, so we're just gonna run with it, see how it goes, answer some questions, give some updates, and yeah. So to kick things off, I guess since the last time we did a call, we've done the 12th and 13th RO butterfly distributions. We're on our way to the big 20. I can't believe we've already done that many distributions, and again, I guess they've stayed consistent. We haven't had any big dips in reward distributions. They've all performed really well. I think the last one was actually, or the 12th one rather, was actually pretty high. This one wasn't as high, relatively speaking, but I don't know, Funky, maybe you could talk to the sort of like the the Pyrex convex claim we did that made the last one or the 12th one like super juicy. I know we had like a bunch of questions about how that works, so maybe if we can provide some insight on that for the record, that'd be nice.
Sure. So yeah, last week we had well, not last week, about 3 weeks ago, we had not even 2 weeks ago, like 4 weeks ago,
Yeah, it'd have been a
because
while ago now. Yeah.
yeah, because it's the distributions for a lot of people who are asking this week in Discord, the distributions are 2 weeks behind. So the distribution on Tuesday was for the rewards that were earned the 2 weeks prior to that. So the 4 weeks prior to that. And if you're for the more detailed information, go check the Dune, which has like a basically like a calendar which sets out which period of rewards are distributed at which date. But anyways, so for Pyrex contracts, Redacted makes fees in three different ways. The first, most basic way is that for all rewards claimed from Vodium, Redacted takes a 4% fee, I think. And every time the Vodium rewards are claimed, that gets sent directly to the treasury. So that's reflected every every 2 weeks. The second way that Redacted makes fees is on the auto compounding of PXCVX in UCVX. So basically, for that PCX CVX, which is in the pounder, their Vodium rewards have an additional fee of I think it's 7% now. It used to be higher. 7% fee, which goes to both Redacted and Union. Although at this TVL, the majority of it goes to the Union, and the repatriation of fees from that is a bit more sporadic. And then the last way that Redacted makes fees, which is also quite a substantial way, as seen last RL distribution, is the VLCVX, what we call platform fees. So basically, when you lock VLCVX, you get CVX CRV and CVX FXS rewards for just locking your convex, and on top of that, you get the bribe rewards. So Pyrex takes all of those fees, and Redacted gets a share of that. And we did the claim for the first time ever. So basically, we launched in like May of last year. So it's like 7, 8 months of rewards were collected in one go. So that's why we collected, I think, like 110,000 CVX CRV, something like that, which made the kind of the income distributed in that period significantly higher, making the yield higher as well. And somebody had a question in the Discord. I think like this week they're like, "Oh, why don't we do the claim more often?" And yes, we will do the claim more often. I think this claim was done just because KP was leaving, so we wanted to kind of get all the distribution out of the way. But what's quite interesting is that the claim can be the claim for the platform fees can be done by anybody. So if anybody's seeing that we're not doing properly, you can ping us and we can do it, or you can just go on the contract. And there's like a claim platform fee rewards, and it'll be automatically distributed to the multi-sig. And then conversely, for this week, lower yield. Reasons for that, probably just because the butterfly price was high, whereas the other rewards weren't as high. But I mean, you can check on the Dune, but typically the yield's like, not promising anything, but historically the yield's been like around 5 to 6%, something like that. So 2 weeks ago it was like 10%. This distribution was like, I think, lower than that. So
Cool. Yeah. No,
enough of me.
pretty
Yeah.
good, pretty good explanation. So hopefully that clears up the discrepancies there. I know a lot of people were curious about it, so yeah, hopefully that provides some insight. And I guess if you're ever really bored one day and you want to claim those rewards like Funky was talking about, then just call the function on the contract, I suppose. Um, I guess while I know you just gave a pretty good monologue, Funky, but while we're here on, I guess, policy topics, or is there anything we want to touch on with regards to bonds?
So not so so as everybody's probably aware, PXG makes launched. Was it like start of this month? Yeah, like more than well before the well since the last community call, PXGMX has launched, and we seeded we have ETH ready to seed a PXGMX pool of up to 500,000, a bit larger than that. So ETH that we've bonded is going towards that. Given the butterfly price, we're continuing to bond both USDC and ETH. USDC just for general kind of treasury purchases, and then this ETH is similar to that, but also potentially for Dinero. So yeah, so that's the update on the bonds. The bonds are ongoing. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that works for me. I guess one other question that newer people I think have when they come across bonds is like where those butterfly are coming from
Yeah.
for the bonds. So maybe we can just
So
touch on that while we're here as well.
so Butterfly has a fixed supply of 650,000. Not all of those are out right now. I don't know. I think we're between 100,000 and 200,000. You can check in the Dune again. Yeah, there you go. Biggest fan, 173,000. So there's with the V2 proposal, there is an emission schedule, but because the emission schedule because the emissions haven't been used as quickly as we're able to, well, not we're able to, but as the emission schedule allows, we're not following it exactly, but it provides us some ability to kind of save up the butterfly when kind of these opportunities come in, like the GMX treasury swap or the bonds, or for example, if PX Butterfly launches and we do a pool for that, this is where the butterfly comes from. Just not, it is minted, but it all fits within the 650,000 cap.
Dope. And we got one more question. This is the funky show today. Do we only offer bonds when the oh my god, butterfly price is above a certain dollar amount?
No, I think we've been like it's easier to bond when the price is going up, and it's kind of less attractive to bond when the price is going down. Just because if the price is going down, the bonds won't fill because the bonds won't adjust to the price. So yeah, I think I'm sure a lot of the butterfly holders know that the last year the butterfly price wasn't good, and now who knows what's going to the market, but it's a good time to get some stables while the price is good.
Cool. Makes sense. All right. So there's the big policy update. Hopefully that answers all the questions we've
Yeah.
gathered over the over the past couple of weeks.
Cool,
Dope.
cool.
On the
It might
government
be
side,
worthwhile just talking. It might
go
be
ahead, Tim.
worthwhile just talking about OTC bonds too, and what the rationale is there and how they work.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it
So
going.
so we've been using Bond Protocol since basically since January, I think, even before that, and they're kind of like an upgraded version of the Olympus V1 or 2 bonds. But we have some stats about kind of the average discounts obviously when the price is going up, the discounts tend to be more because the bond prices the bond prices go up once somebody buys, but if you don't buy, the price goes down. So the prices typically go down, whereas if the price is going up, the discounts will be higher. But the discounts have been around like 7 to 10%. And we had quite a lot of interest for OTC Butterfly. So we thought we'd set up this kind of OTC bonds, which basically larger ticket bonds can be sold to one individual or one party for a smaller discount, therefore providing better execution for the DAO. But we haven't yet had one of them because I guess the normal bonds have been doing okay. But I'd say those can like come out at any time, so it's really kind of just first come first serve for those.
Cool. Yeah, and we have the OTC bond channel that Figgy just shared in the town hall text chat. So go check that out if you're curious on like some of the details, or if you have questions, you can also ask them in there, and that's where they'll probably be answered. So cool. Any more policy stuff that people have questions about? I assume not, because we just did a pretty exhaustive overview of everything lately. So cool. We'll move on for that. If anybody has any questions, we'll circle back and kind of answer them at the end. On the governance side of things, nothing crazy. The sort of the last proposal that was passed since we had our last community call was this RIP 33, redacted strategic treasury alignment on JUSD and JGLP. This was a proposal by Jones DAO. They're launching this sort of new product, new vault that earns sort of according to them, amplified yields on both USDC and GLP. They wanted us to be a strategic depositor in that vault. I don't know if Sammy, maybe you have some insight here on this that you want to provide. It did pass, so I guess the question is like, what are some of the steps there, and in what capacity are we getting involved, etc.
Was this for me or was this for Sammy?
Sammy, you, I guess whoever wants to take it.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
the cool thing about this is that like it's like a proposal made by an external DAO, so it's kind of cool to see like the governance process working. And the proposal basically said that we would work with them, but that the kind of amount that we would invest into their JUSD vault, JUSDC vault was kind of dependent on our strategic asset committee. And Sammy can touch more on the next steps.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you guys remember, Ice Cream from Jones DAO is part of the strategic asset committee. But like anyways, we took the conversation there after it passed. And I'd say it's more a question of just like seeing how their launch goes, not being first and also not being last. Like I understand we got whitelisted to deposit in early, but I think just in terms of like how we want to be like conservative with our stables, if anything, considering how risk on we are with everything else, like the only thing that makes sense like strategically is to just see how it's going and then slowly scale in. I don't think we're talking like 7 figures or something, but like slowly scale in, a decent amount, support our partners. As you guys know, like Redacted owns 1% of the Jones supply. Often gets overlooked because it's the tokens are vesting on Arbitrum, but we obviously want them to succeed, and like I think it's a good vault anyways, right? So it'll come with due time. Like we're not just here just aping shit all over the place and doing no DD.
Cool. Yeah, and I guess while we're on the governance topic, we're getting like some updates, or not updates, we're getting some questions about the dashboard on the website, the multi-farm dashboard. So maybe we could provide an update on that, since
Yeah.
it was
So I'll
originally.
speak on behalf of Greens. So Greens is our lead front-end developer. He has taken on the burden of this dashboard. I call it a burden because basically, like you guys saw, well, there's a lot of faces here who've been around for a while. The product that Multifarm gave us was really bad. Now the thing is that everyone really wanted it, right? Because we paid for it, and it was. I'm not gonna say it was like a waste of money because in the end, like there was KPIs written and they reached those KPIs, but there was no love behind it. There's no passion behind like them doing it. It was just very
It's
like
like when you go to McDonald's and they give you you're like excited to eat at McDonald's, and they give you your bag and all of the food inside of it's like spilled all over the bottom of the bag.
exactly. It's exactly like that, right? So you got your food, you can't eat it, but it's like. Anyways, all that to say, like, we decided to put it out because it was in a working state. Now I see the comments. Oh, some of the data is outdated. Oh, we're missing some of the stuff at like Pirex GMX. Like, so just like, what we'll do is we will, actually we can just keep it in general or in the suggestions channel. Just, ping Greens, ping me. With anything that you guys want updated, if there's like a metric that you guys track really closely, um if any of you one individually like tracks a certain metric really closely and would like to see it like updated and fixed, just give us a shout because like really what's happening is we're taking over the dashboard project, and I think well, okay, like I think going forward, obviously it's not up to me or anyone on the stage, but like personally I'll be voting no to like outsourcing work
Same.
to third parties going forward. So but it is what it is. Like we like in the end you guys got the dashboard and I think like we needed it. So yeah, just give us a shout. Like it's gonna be honestly like an effort between all of us to like, make sure that it stays updated and make sure that it stays fit. And also Greens is doing some work on the side to make sure that the data is like not so static, and make sure that it can be like, it can be managed autonomously. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think like to be fair, it we did vote to like make sure to get them paid correctly and stuff. I think morally and like from a professional standpoint, we all did the right thing, in voting to like get them paid to finish the work, blah blah blah. I think this is like a broader lesson learned about just outsourcing work. Maybe when we don't have to, it's I think long term it is probably better to hire people to the DAO, rather than like I don't know, outsource to a third party. And so yeah, expensive mistake, lesson learned. Yeah, and I think like I would just be patient on the dashboard. It's a code base that Greens is like trying to familiarize himself with. I think it's written in Python. Nobody on the team is a expert Python developer besides me because I'm an expert in all the languages, but I just don't have the time to redo the dashboard. So yeah, we'll get on it. We'll do our best, but lesson learned. So we'll just have to take it in stride, everybody. We're working on it. Cool. So if there's any questions again about that or any suggestions and stuff, just like
I'll open a channel called Dashboard, and like we can have conversations about it there,
yeah,
or we can open up a thread on the forum or something and like have the suggestions there. So we'll fix that.
yeah. Just give us some time. We'll get it fixed. And yeah, just leave anything in that channel. Cool. So moving on to product updates. So Hidden Hand is on the data side of things, like no huge updates. It is just chugging along, printing, especially every other week. It's doing really well. Adoption is great. Protocols are still battling it out as they have been. So nothing too crazy there. I think the
And
big thing. Go ahead.
new
Yeah.
hidden hand market next week.
Okay. So new Hidden Hand market next week, with a new partner. So look out for that. But the big thing that happened with Hidden Hand, since the last community call, is this sort of quality of life update that the devs did something. So they pushed a quality of life update. I'll let Never kind of give the update on what that quality of life improvement actually is, if he's here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to, yeah, improve the user experience on Hand for the past, like, it's these small things that go a long way. So, beefing up our backend so that, like, easier to query from other projects and integrated, faster, yeah, faster and more automated ways for people to claim their rewards. And also now we're cooking up some new things where it could be now a bit more gas efficient to actually claim those rewards and put them into one asset. So yeah, we've just been chugging along with those, and we kind of have feature parity, or even better features than every other vote market on them there is. So kind of not slowing down on these kind of improvements, and stepping on their necks, I think, is what we're going to be doing with it now.
Sick. So yeah, the big update is that you get your bribes way faster now. And there's no like long sort of inconsistencies between the end of a round and then the distribution of those bribes. So that's been live for a couple of weeks now. So I think people have already started sort of seeing the benefits of that change. So shout out to the devs for that. Let's see. I think that's it for Hidden Hand. So we can do Pirex. I'll start with Pirex Convex since that will be a little bit of a quicker update. But yeah, Pirex Convex is doing great. We passed a pretty big milestone since the last community call. Pirex shot past 10 million TVL and is now at like 12 million TVL or something, and is the largest and most trusted liquid wrapper for Volok Convex, which is sick. So shout out to Pirex Convex. It's just doing its thing. And I think this is kind of like a testament to the types of products that we push out. People prefer, simple, clean, elegant, not a ton of just incentives poured on top of it. Yeah, Pyrex is making KP proud. So Sammy, if you have something to add.
Yeah, the one thing I was gonna add was I saw some comments on the GMX deposits. So basically, you have two user groups here, right? One that is intelligent and would use Pyrex GMX, right? And then two is the person who is just like hopping from farm to farm. Obviously, we're playing the long game. We're on the first option. So what happens is we seeded the pool, right? We seeded it, and every day our multiplier points go up, right? Because the deposit just started. So like basically the effectiveness of PXGMX, like even without deposits, like increases as our deposit stays in there, right? And more deposits come in. So in terms of like scaling the deposits for GLP and really kicking the flywheel off, like it's more of a slow game. Like what the average GMX vault does is to subsidize this. They would let's put ourselves in the shoes of a shitcoin here. What we would do is we would dilute the fuck out of you guys and put a bunch of butterfly on it so that we can subsidize what would essentially be the delta between the current yield and like the potential future multiplier points. But we're not going to do that. Obviously, like that's not why we put out these things. So it's a slow grind. Like I think like as the multiplier points go up, like there is a direct. I have looked at it. There's like basically a direct correlation with like as the yield improves, like the more deposits like scale in. Maybe Funky, you can add more stuff onto what I'm saying, but I think it makes sense.
Like I think there was a good thread put out this week by the main Twitter account. Hats off to Colton. But I think there's different types of value being brought by PXGMX and PXGLP. The main one obviously is that it's liquid, right? So like your staked GMX, your staked GLP can be used with other products, etc. That's like things that we're excited for other people to build on, or these Pyrex applications to be built on as well. The second really cool point is that there is ESGMX yield in the ESGMX is a token in the GMX ecosystem, and at least for staked GMX at the moment, you receive part of your yield in ESGMX, which is a liquid token. You cannot trade it, you can stake it. And for people who don't plan to stay for a long time, if you unstake, you lose that, in addition to the multiplier points as well. So what is really cool about PXGMX and PXGLP is that instead of having these ESGMX rewards, which you can't sell, it basically allows you to have liquidity in that ESGMX through PXGMX. So basically, on top of having multiplier points, which boost your yield, you also have liquid yield because part of your yield, which was previously illiquid, is now fully liquid. So for the average user, you're basically doubling your immediate liquid yield.
So yeah, when it comes to Pyrex, we're playing the long game, and it paid off with Pyrex Convex, and we're doing the same with Pyrex GMX. And I think like the funny part about it is, as Sammy already mentioned, like most of the competition is sort of heavily subsidizing their deposits, which is something that we just haven't had to do and won't do going into the future because it just doesn't make sense for us. And plus, we just like we don't have the handy supply to just allocate like 2% of I don't know, the circulating supply or something to, yeah, they're subsidizing with their own tokens. That's right, Damien. So it's just something we're not going to do because it doesn't make sense. Pyrex GMX, I think it does have a couple of competitors, or Pyrex GLP does, sorry, or PX GLP. So it's just one of those things where I think like the other thing you have to consider is that there are switching costs to getting people to leave what they're currently doing to join another product, right? So if I'm a user and I'm already staked with GMX directly, we have to like convince those users over time to stop doing that, give up, you know, whatever multiplier points or whatever they've accrued, and then come over to Pyrex GMX. So there's like switching costs to everything. It takes a while to earn that mind share and get those people to switch. So just a long game. And we'll just keep putting out information same way we did with Pyrex Convex, and then eventually I think we'll be in a really good spot. Because PXGMX is a whole different thing as MP comes into consideration. Right. Olaf, you're hitting the nail on the head a little bit. So no, you're good. Cool. Is there any Pyrex GMX questions while we're here? I guess we could answer those before we kind of move on to other stuff. There's not much other stuff, so we have time if anybody has questions about any of that. When Pyrex GMX on Avalanche? Never, maybe that's a question for you. If you have any thoughts. If not, then we're good. Soon TM, then I guess I think we want to see how it does on Arbitrum, and then eventually we can expand to Avalanche. Any other questions? No? Good. All right. Then we can move on. Let's see what I have next on the agenda. Actually, okay, I guess now we can talk a little bit about where we're at on Dinero, because I saw a Dinero question earlier from somebody. What did they say? Something about a Dinero timeline, which I will absolutely not give you. But I will say that we've made, I would say, more progress on Dinero in the past few weeks than we had previously, and I think we're starting to get a lot of momentum behind the effort that is Dinero. We've been having like a lot of calls behind the scenes as far as the design. We've been working on sourcing the talent required to actually build Dinero, which is something that is going to take some resources to do. Yeah, I mean, I guess if anybody has any other things they want to add to that up here on the stage, feel free, but don't leak anything. I know Sammy is just like, he's probably muted and like saying all of the alpha out loud, but he's muted just so he can get it out. I know he wants to unmute and say it all, but won't let him. I'll make him.
Well, I think what I will say is that I think on all the other community calls we said that like we're not full Dinero mode. It's kind of just like a roadmap thing until we get PX GMX and PX GLP at the door, and that has been done. So you can kind of piece together what I'm saying with what Colton is saying, I guess. Right? I think like there's nothing else we're working on. Well, there's a bunch of other stuff we're working on, but like there's not like a new undertaking as big as something like the PXGMX code base that would distract anyone on the team from working on Dinero. So yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Good job. Good. X or maybe X0KM asks, could you share alpha here first, please, when you decide to launch? Reward your biggest fans. I mean, we kind of always do that, right? Like we always share stuff here because a lot of the time the stuff that we do has to go through governance, etc., then everybody who's at these calls are some of the most active people in governance, so the ones who are giving us feedback, etc. So yeah, I mean, if you show up to the community calls or you listen to the recordings, you're most likely to be in the know because a lot of this stuff is approved by the community. So it only makes sense that information would be shared here earlier than like a public announcement, for example. Not that anything is private here. It's just we have to get stuff passed through governance, and this is the best way to do that. Let's see. What is the Dinero ticker? Come on, you already know that it's gonna be Dinero.
We love
long
six letter
tickers here.
We love
Yeah.
6 letter tickers. Yeah.
We like long tickers here. Let's see. Any other question? Joker Frog said DAMM partnership update.
So I'll do this. I guess like Joker, like it looks like the team is working on like another project. And like the last time I talked to them, they were like, oh, like let's hop on a call. I said, okay, let's hop on a call.
Did we lose Sammy?
I don't know if they still want. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. So, like, if this is like an accelerant for DAM, then it changes our strategy, obviously, right? So the call, like, I didn't do the call, but the call is coming up sometime early next week. So, I won't wait till the next community call to give you an update. But like, it seems like they're working on something new, like a V2 or some sort of like add-on product, like I guess like their version of Hidden Hand or their version of Pirate. Not like the same product, but like you know what I mean. Like they're working on things that will like accelerate them. That obviously would change our deposit strategy according to them. So we'll see what the update is from them. I think it's called AORI. Yeah.
Joker said another partner letting the cartel down. It's funny. It's only funny because it's like half true. But I mean, again, this is like something that shaped a lot of the philosophy behind deciding to pursue Dinero, right? Is that I think going forward, the biggest part of our strategy is trying to be more self-sufficient and do way more stuff in-house, rely on partners less, mostly because I think we just do a better job of driving traffic and users and everything else to our products than most teams. Not to toot our own horn, we're just like better at it. So yeah, let's see. Oh, I forgot to ask any idea for the so we've gotten a lot of PX butterfly questions. This isn't really something we talk a ton about internally. Do we have any updates or thoughts on that? I think as far as like actually getting it built and shipped, it wouldn't take too long. It's just more of a matter of priority. But we have been getting a lot of questions about it. So anybody up here have any thoughts on PX butterfly?
Like I think I said, so the code is done. We just got a quote for an audit from a few different parties. Although the audit is a bit, to be honest, the audit is formalities because like it's very similar to the convex one. But we got some quotes on the audits. Like I said, like not too long ago, like I'd say everyone's focused on Dinero right now. And all the other intricacies that come with developing a system like that. And I know everyone wants PX Butterfly, so like what we'll probably do is put it in audit sometime soon, since everyone wants it really bad. And like then we'll have a better update, right, in terms of like when we're launching and stuff. But in terms of like development, it's done. But I think that we have just been internally prioritizing other things. But if you guys want us to prioritize other things over this, then sure. Like it's not like it's another fee generator for us. It helps make your guys' lives easier, etc., etc.
Please stay focused on Dinero because it's gonna take time to build properly. Yeah, I mean, look. So the thing with PX Butterfly is that it's like already done. It doesn't take a lot of time or mind share away from Dinero or anything like that. And I think, like Sammy mentioned earlier, that's pretty much the like primary focus. I would say it's like 90% of our focus now. as far as like where we're putting time and resources, especially now that Pirex GMX is out and in the wild. So most of the effort there now is marketing and content support and getting you guys to like spread the word. Were you gonna add something, Sammy?
Yeah, I was just gonna add Joker Fox thing on dead partners. um, yeah, honestly, like I don't want any more of these types of parties trying to come in and take advantage of us, take advantage of you guys and stuff. Like the biggest concern for me when this came up, I said it on the community call, was like, where is this 500K coming from? Right, it's coming from freshly minted Butterfly, right? So it's like, sure, like we're helping you guys, but what do you guys, like you guys as in like our community, us as a project, getting out of it? Like not much, eh? Like a tweet maybe. Like we don't need a tweet. I think like we have more followers than you guys. So like when I think about like partners now, Joker, like third parties, like outsourcing work, giving tokens to people, like it's just like, oh man, like it's just, like I just can't, like I can't rally against it hard enough. Because I think when I think about new partners, for example, this hidden hand launch coming up next week, like it has nothing to do with, actually, like the success of it is based on our efforts, not the success of that project that we are integrating. Obviously there's things that tie into it like bribe efficiency and stuff, but we just want to launch things that we have complete control over, that we're not dependent on other people. Like who knows, like what'll happen with these guys, like Damn, for example. Like I don't mean to put everything on them, but it's like, okay, like we deposit 500 grand. If we deposited 500 grand when they said they would, that 500 grand would be worth like what, like over, yeah, like over like 1.5 mil, right? Because they wanted it like V1, and then we've like 4x to 5x from there or something, the market cap wise. So like, yeah, really, like what do we like, how do we want to like play with these guys? Like I say we just don't even play with them at all, because we've seen like, if someone really wants to integrate us, for example, when people talk to us about, oh, what do you want to do with your Dinero LPs? Oh, like, hey, like PXGMX, like Karn can talk a bit about, like, for example, the partnership we did with like Resonance Finance, Resonate Finance. You know, like these guys just like integrate us the way that we would integrate them. And there's no like asks for anything, right? Like PXGMX is a unique case because we needed, it was our first venture into Arbitrum and stuff like that. But like for the most part, like we're not, like when I think, if someone is coming to me as like a person who works in DeFi and asking me for stuff to like, you know, launch something, then like it's a pretty telling sign that like they actually do not want to do this, and they're sort of just doing it to like extract as much value out of us as possible. So that's kind of where I stand on things in terms of like these quote unquote dead partners.
Yeah, and the reality is most of the time, you know, I don't want to say this about all partners, but they just like, maybe it's not even most of the time, but some of the time they really just want like us to market their stuff for them. Like they want us to carry all of the marketing weight and push people in their direction, push traffic in their direction, push users in their direction, etc. And yeah, we're in a position now where we turn down a lot of these types of partnerships and relationships. And yeah, when you realize it's all PvP, exactly, like a lot of it is PvP. I mean, and I think there are some partners that we work really closely with and that we have like mutually beneficial relationships with, but those are rarer than the other type of relationship. So like the Balancer and Aura relationship has been a really solid one, for example. But there's not like a ton of those, you know. Karna, just saw you hopped up here, so if there's any updates you wanted to give or stuff like that, feel free.
Yeah, and just wanted to touch on Sammy's point. Like ways for protocols to work together are a very, very wide design space, and like just spitballing some new things, right? Like we can always find a way for any two protocols to work together. And for the time being, like the more I guess, sorry, reverse of that. The less dev lift it's going to take on either side, or the less resources it's going to take on either side, the more likely it is going to go through. But that doesn't speak to like how impactful this could be. So like Sammy said, our partnership with Revest was really, really good because they really wanted to work with us, and they already set up a system where yeah, you have a pool of tokens that can sort of supply you some future yield for you to use upfront. It works kind of similarly to our Pirex future yield module, like to the end user. But the nice part there is we're building our Pirex Vault products. They're building this yield fronting system, and it was a really, really easy integration. Nobody had to do too much to sort of put two and two together and offer your future yield on basically hopefully any new Pyrex products in the future. And so like that's like a really, really ideal type of partnership. Like on our side, like all we have to do is to show them what we're building, show them how they can integrate us, give the appropriate like technical documents and some support. But yeah, like that was a really sort of pleasant way that this all came together. But also just like another random idea, right? Sort of on PXGMX, if any of y'all like are whales or contribute to DAOs, you can spin this idea in your head. One easy way to create flywheels in this space is to take things that sort of grow and compound over time, right? And one of the really cool things about PXGMX is that that's its sort of ultimate power in my eyes. Like you just leave a chunk there and it gets quote unquote stronger over time due to the amount of multiplier points that it keeps accumulating. So, what about this, right? What if you build an auto compounder or any vault system in the future? You take a fee, sure, but you take a chunk of those fees and you accumulate PXGMX with it. And you have the rewards of PXGMX go back inside your auto compounder or vault. So what that happens is you have these like vault-owned assets, and they go back to boosting the vault in the future. And so these vaults, they will never be empty in the future because whoever's in it is going to get whatever the yield they're supposed to get plus yield from this booster asset. So, that's like a really cool and generic way where protocols can all, work together and sort of showing PXGMX as a really cool booster asset in that regard. I'll shut up now, but yeah, just a cool random thought.
Cool. So any questions about that? We're at the 45-minute mark. We could probably start wrapping it up here. We have UST in the chat. He's trying to farm the engagement again. Nobody's feeling it. He's falling flat. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he fell off. His bots aren't here today. I don't know.
It's the narrative, bro. I'm spinning it up as we speak.
Nah, your narrative flopped. All right, so if there's no more questions, no more stuff, we could wrap it up a little bit early. Everybody can go enjoy their weekend. Wait, Olaf has one more question, so we'll do Olaf's question and then we'll do the joke. I guess UST is doing the joke. So Olaf, what's your question, good sir?
I think he just doesn't want to hear the joke.
I've seen I've seen that fees are kind of higher every other rewards epoch. Is the HH bribe fees kind of off sync?
Not really. Since they're very timed around, the convex and aura. Like we kind of all follow a very similar cadence. So I don't think they're off.
Yeah, I think if seeing Olaf's last message, we discussed that at the beginning of the call, and last rewards epoch was an anomaly because of the Pyrex platform fees claim. But as we discussed, we're going to try and to smooth that. So last rewards epoch, we claimed like more than 100,000, maybe $150,000 worth of Pyrex platform fees. So those were distributed, which brought everything higher than normal.
Sorry, I was doing a meme request to Mole. All right, cool. So, by the way, how the non-US after the Kraken news? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the Kraken thing is really interesting, but we don't have to go over it here. Are we going to spend more effort on the curve flywheel?
I think we've spent the last few months like trying to diversify away from solely being dependent on the curve flywheel. Obviously, when we have something like a stable coin as part of the product suite, it changes. But actually, like I'd say, no, all the efforts have been on diversifying away from solely being dependent on that because I guess like it was a mistake of ours to do that in the beginning. So yeah.
Cool. One more question. All right, first off, before I ask this, none of us are like legal or lawyers. We don't fucking know. Well, the recent SEC ruling on e-staking on Kraken going to affect Dinero in a positive or negative way. So, my understanding, and again, I don't know shit about anything. I just read Twitter threads. I probably know as much as you do about this. From what I have seen, it has nothing to do with ETH staking and everything to do with the way that Kraken presented that ETH staking to users. So it was stuff that they were doing underneath it all that was the issue. Yeah, so it's not staking itself that was the problem. It's the way that Kraken packaged it and presented it to United States citizens that was the problem. So again, I don't know anything about the law. I'm not a legal person. We have our own legal counsel that gives us feedback on this type of stuff. So, of course, we will consult them before anything. But that is my understanding of the situation. As of right now, it doesn't affect any of the efforts we have going into Dinero. So, yeah. Could it? Potentially, yes. Does it right now? Not that I'm aware of. Do we have legal counsel? Yeah, bro. Like, you can't be in this industry without legal counsel. If you do, you are insane. The legal counsel is not me, though, because I'm just a guy. No date for the light paper, no. No date for the white paper either. We're not doing dates at this point in time. They will go live when they go live. Let's see, bar exam during that. Yeah, we're all going to take the bar exam together during the next community call. Whoever gets the best score is the new legal counsel. And we're just going to go from there. Are we still doing monthly budget releases? Good question. I think that is going out soonish, hopefully. Anything else?
I think to answer Joker Frog's question, I think Che just posted the most recent one yesterday, so cool. It should be up in the Commonwealth somewhere.
So go dig that up, and we will get them out in a more timely manner in the future. Sorry, we were late on this one. I think it's on Commonwealth, right? Funky, the like original.
Yeah, I think it's on Commonwealth somewhere in there. I don't know where Che posted it.
We'll dig it up for you and share it in Discord. Let's see. Anything else? Last calls. I think we're good, though. I don't think there's any more things. All right. Well, shout out to everybody for stopping by. It's a pleasure, as always. I think we covered a lot of good ground today, especially on the policy front. So thank you, Funky, for the monologue at the beginning. I think we caught up on a lot of questions that have been asked. Before we leave, though, I will let UST say his joke. He's been holding it in for the entire hour. So, UST, I guess you have the floor. Everybody get your crickets ready, please.
Shit. I've been working on this one for a little while. What kind of car does an egg drive?
What?
A Volkswagen.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for stopping by. The recording will be up on Monday as usual. Crickets in the chat. Jesus
I could drop
Christ.
another if necessary, though.
No, it's good, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it as always. And yeah, see you all not next week, but the week after. Peace.
Peace, gang.
Peace, guys. Peace.